My name is Kubeir. Welcome to the channel. I am a CICC licensed immigration consultant. This channel is all about Canadian immigration news and updates. And this is what we do every Saturday morning. We do a weekly roundup so that we can bring to you whatever has happened in this particular week. So to give you an insight of what's happening in the world of Canadian immigration. Starting with the quote of the week: when you have a dream, you've got to grab it and never let it go. And that is the only way you can achieve your goals and your dreams. Canadian immigration roundup for today. Stay up to date on our different platforms and channels. What we'll be doing is the PNP overview. We'll be doing the express entry overview for the month of April, and then the individual draws from there on. Starting with British Columbia, the British Columbia PNP, they hold obviously weekly draws and invites top scoring profiles. In April 2022, they have invited more than 665 candidates. And in this month, so in the last week, 3rd of May was the last draw. They invited 141 candidates. And this was through their general draw, which is Express Entry BC, Skilled Worker, and International Graduate streams. And they also invited up to 42 candidates with a score of 65 under the Targeted Occupation draw for the early childhood educators. Manitoba also holds regular draws. And in the month of April, they held 2 draws, a total of 526 letters of application, letters LAA, letters of advice to apply, were issued to 76 candidates. I apologize. I'm not having my best fluid day, but yeah. Manitoba then on the 5th of May has conducted another draw, and they issued 249 letters of advice to apply under the Skilled Workers in Manitoba stream. And they also invited 34 candidates under the Strategic Recruitment Initiative with the lowest score of 691. 32 candidates were invited under the International Education stream. Saskatchewan, we have been all waiting for a Saskatchewan draw for quite some time. Finally, they did conduct a draw on the 5th of May, and they invited 106 candidates with the lowest score of 85, which is actually quite high. I don't know, can't even call it low. And then they have invited 91 candidates under the OID stream. OID is Occupation in Demand stream. 41 different NOC codes were identified in this draw or were invited in this draw. Now, as normal, the more the number of NOCs they will invite, the higher the score would be. 85, draw of 85 basically means that these candidates had either a relative in Saskatchewan or they had a job offer. That is the only way they were going to get 85. Then Ontario also conducted in April 2 draws, and they invited 1,335 candidates. This was under the skills category stream. And the people who were eligible were mainly the NOC codes under the trucking. That also happened last week. But in addition to that, they have invited nearly 1,335 candidates in April itself. Moving from there on, Prince Edward Islands, their draws are pre-scheduled and their calendar is already announced or published on their website. They held a draw on 21st of April, inviting 141 candidates from the Labor Impact and Express Entry streams, 11 from the Business Impact stream. I know a lot of you get told by different agents and consultants that they can invite you, or rather they will make your profile on the Prince Edward website. But in most cases, it's always the it's always the people who are inside the province who get invited. In Express Entry, there were obviously 2 draws in the month of April. 1,554 candidates were invited, and these were again PNP specific draw. Now, we all know Minister Sean Fraser has already announced that they will resume the Express Entry draws for all programs in early July. So the fingers are crossed as to who will be invited and what scores and how many invitations will be issued. There is also an ARIMA draw, which happened on the 7th of April, inviting 33 candidates, and we haven't heard back much from them. But these, again, with ARIMA, you need to have good scoring factors in French, as well as a job offer may also be required. In other news, Alberta has lifted restrictions on the temporary foreign workers effective 1st of May. And this is primarily related to LMIAs. So in order to apply for an LMIA, you also need to comply with certain other conditions. So Alberta had put some restrictions on certain categories of jobs. they have now removed these restrictions because Alberta is booming again. Alberta is back. Yes, that's basically it that I have for today in today's presentation. Connect with us in all these platforms. Ishan says, can we transfer our money to a Canadian bank account beforehand and show that as proof of funds while applying to Ontario and Express Entry? Yes, you can absolutely do that. However, keep in mind, once you do, first of all, I'm not sure how you'll be able to open your account, especially if you do not have status in Canada. Banks like Scotia Bank, they do allow you to open an account, but you do not have access to the funds until you can come to Canada and activate your account. So I don't see any specific benefit in doing this. You can simply keep it with yourself wherever you are, in whichever country you are, you can keep the funds there. But if you want to do this, yes, there is no problem. You can absolutely do this. Is there a timetable which shows Ontario sends out notification for those in Express Entry pool, or is it done at random? No, there is no timetable. They do it as and when they think they need to do it. Tabi says, spouse added with UCI didn't receive biometrics instruction, but on the GCMS can see biometrics being generated. Can she use this, or biometric instruction letter is required, invitation letter is required? No, you definitely need a biometrics request letter from IRCC. Otherwise, you cannot complete your biometrics. How much time do we normally receive an AOR from IRCC once we submit all the documents after having received ITA in Express Entry? It is actually within the first few minutes, or could be within the hour. In some cases, some people have reported a technical glitch, so it has taken them between 24 to 48 hours, but that's pretty much it. In most cases, you should receive within the first few minutes itself. If it starts taking longer than that, then it's either a technical glitch or there is something drastically gone wrong with the application. You should immediately raise a technical web form. CRS is 493. Should I write IELTS again to increase the score, or should I wait for the draw? Well, I think you should wait for the draw. We don't really know how the draws are going to pan out. We don't know how many invitations they're going to issue. We do not know, are they going to do an all-program draw, or are they going to do a program-specific draw? We don't know any of this. This is all speculation. But your score is very good, 493. You really have a good chance. So my suggestion would be that if your IELTS is not expiring anytime soon, then you can afford to wait till the draws will resume, and then you can take a judgment call. Applied study visa for my kid in SOWP application. Kid is 3 years plus. It's fine. I'm not sure what you're trying to ask me there. No, I'm sorry. I can't really understand that question there. I gave my IELTS general last year on my old passport, got a renewed passport. Will my IELTS general test work for my PR application? Yes, absolutely. There is no problem with the passport number renewal and change. September 21 PNP, security check pending. IRCC proudly said I'm within a new normal 22-month dump deadline and should relax. Does it mean September 2021 AORs will not fall into 2022 quota? Again, all this is something which you can only speculate and try and understand. Your application will come within the backlog, and once the processing is done, whichever year, whenever it does get processed, once you get your passport request, you will be able to come to Canada. So this understanding of does it come under that quota or under this quota, this is only when we try to stress ourselves and we overthink. It is all irrelevant, to be very honest. How does it matter to you whether you come under 21 quota, 22 quota, 23 quota? It doesn't, right? And forget about what IRCC told you, or the call center agent told you within this 22-month normal timeline, because it is not the timeline. It is not normal. It is what is happening right now. Nowhere has IRCC stated that 22-month is the new timeline or average processing time. They are still looking to process the applications. They will continue to work on the applications. Hopefully, they will process majority or the chunk of applications by July or August, and that's what I will be looking at. That's what I would be hoping for, and I'm sure that you should also get yours sorted before that. Can you explain the reason one could have review required in the eligibility? Well, the review required could be for any number of reasons. Your work experience documents could be a problem. You did not provide enough documents. The salary was missing. The number of hours, working hours was missing. The duties and responsibilities was incorrect or not enough or copy pasted. The knock code was wrong. The work period was wrong. Proof of funds is not enough for the number of people. You haven't provided proper documents for proof of funds. Your educational credentials, you have chosen wrong equivalency. There is a suspect in terms of your credentials, in terms of being genuine or not. There are so many variables that can happen for which a review is required. A review required basically means a program assistant or program analyst who is first handling your application or assessing your application. They find there is something which they should bring to the attention of the senior visa officer, who will then make a decision. That is the reason they identify that as review required. And until the visa officer would then check what the issue is and then either clear it, pass it, decide what decision needs to be taken on that, or then asks for additional information or additional document request, that is when you will see that happening. What forms are required when adding a new bond post AOR? Well, post AOR, you should raise a web form. You should inform IRCC that you're looking to add your baby. In most cases, you will be required to fill IMM 0008 and 5406, because for a new baby, there is no requirement to complete the travel history or the background declaration, because the baby is obviously 18 years and below. But IMM 0008 and IMM 5406 is what you will be required to complete. What are the best PNP avenues for 1223? Well, you will need to check individual provincial websites to see what their program criteria is and the knock-in demand is, and then apply accordingly. Do you know from the 5th of May, PR applicants can't get upfront medical after ITA? We are struggling, though we were denied medical exam because IRCC issued a notice to the doctor. Well, I've been hearing about this. I haven't seen any official confirmation, but this is being done from people to invariably go for their upfront medical and then create a problem, because once they do an upfront medical, they send repeated web forms to IRCC. Hey, I've done my medical. Hey, I've done my medical. Hey, do correct my medical, attach my medical. And it is creating a mess from the web forms to, creating additional requests. So, I mean, that is probably the reason why IRCC has gone out and told the doctors not to accept upfront medicals. Well, in a way, I mean, it's all right, because in this matter, at least it saves you all the headache of doing this upfront medical and then trying to push IRCC to connect it to your application. I've been telling this for a long time that it doesn't help. Sometimes some people may have gotten lucky with certain assessment criteria. In most cases, a lot of people don't even need an re-medicals for that matter, but they go and get it done anyways. So now that you cannot get an upfront medical, especially if you're done your ITA, in your case, what you should do is you would simply upload a letter of explanation in your upfront medicals saying that you are unable to do it because doctors are not accepting it and they need IMM 1017. So once IRCC will send you that form, you will be able to complete your medicals. It's not a problem. Don't worry about it. It only gives you an added validity period after you have completed your medical. So it's on the good side of things. IELTS score is expiring 19th of December. What do you think? Is there a need to worry? Well, I can't tell you at this point of time because we don't really know how the draws will take place. We do not know how many invitations will be issued. We will not be able to say which kind of programs they're going to be inviting. So because of that, right now to freak out, it doesn't make sense. Let the draws start. So if you can see the draws have started, they're issuing very high number of ITAs, right, per draw. They're issuing 4,000, 5,000, 3,500, that kind of numbers. Then I would say 480 has a very good chance of hitting before that date. But you also need to understand that your IELTS needs to be valid before, or rather on the day you submit your application. So the day you submit your application, if your IELTS are expiring, then obviously you will need to redo them. So as I said, once the draws start and you're able to sort of, make a judgment or an informed judgment in the sense of how many invitations are being issued, when the program, what kind of draws are being issued, then you will be able to decide whether you should retake your IELTS or just hold on to that score. So yeah, just wait for the draws to happen. Rajesh Mehta, thank you for the super chat, but unfortunately there is no question there. When will work visa processing timelines come down? I'm sorry, I don't know. I can't answer that question because who knows when the timelines will come down. ANIP is good if I have LMIA, or should I go for FSW draws? Well, if you're talking about the Alberta Immigrant Nominee Program, which is now AAIP, Alberta Advantage Immigration Program, well, then in that case, If you have an LMIA, obviously the chances of you getting invited by the province are very high. If not, then it's luck by chance. You may get invited, you may not get invited. And the way you're asking, should I go for FSW draws? I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, if you have an option to go with express entry draws, then why would you even consider a PNP? So if you do not have a if you do not have a chance with AINP, then trust me, you may not have a chance with FSW either. FSW scores are going to be very, very high. They're going to be, I mean, if your scores are going to be anything less than 470 at this point of time, I don't see any chance or any possibility in the near future. Definitely not within the next 1 year for sure. Okay, but if you think you can improve your scores, then definitely, or if you think you have a chance of applying under FSW with a higher score, then by all means do. What currently is the best province to focus? Well, any province in which you have an opportunity, in which you have a chance, in which can get you an invitation, that is the province you should focus on. We receive Ontario International Graduate Stream non-express entry invitation. Can we also have express entry application active? Yes, absolutely you can. There is no problem. How long does security and criminality check take? I called IRCC line and they stated the eligibility passed, info sharing complete, but yet to start security and criminality. Well, they haven't started. Once they start, it can be done pretty quickly, but it's about when they will start is the problem here. Debate, what future of backlog? Well, this is the backlogs. And sometimes you just do not know how to look at it anymore. Temporary residence applications are sitting at 1 million. That's ridiculous. Permanent residence applications are sitting at 500,000. Yes, different categories of applications, but they're sitting there. 500,000 applications there. Express entry, actually, express entry is on the better side of things. More and more applications are getting cleared. Canadian experience class is at 8,363. Federal skilled workers only at 36,000 now. Federal skilled trade at 537. So when I'm saying these are not the applications, these are people. So the number of applications which could even be fewer than this, could be lesser than this. I don't have a number here actively for the PNP applications, but by and large with CEC, with federal skilled trade, the numbers is coming down fast. And this is in comparison between March 15 and April 11th. As you can see, for federal skilled itself, they have cleared roughly 5,000 people. For Canadian experience class, they have cleared about 2,000 people. So they did manage to clear about 7,000 people there. So that, by any standards, is a good number to see the backlogs getting cleared. Any update for the new changes in express entry? At this point of time, no, there are no changes in express entry. As and when those are announced, trust me, it will be all over the news. You will just not be able to miss it. Okay. All right, same questions coming back through again. Do PNP outland files are less important than EECEC because the recent data shows that the backlog of these files have increased instead of decreasing? It is not about being important or not being important. That is the reason why it is called express entry. The whole process was meant to expedite the applications that are filed under the express entry. So it's not about these applications are important and that application is not important. It's just that the process time is different. Paper applications are known to take significantly longer. It's not something which is a secret or a hidden fact. That is the reason express entry has been termed express, because they were able to process those applications faster because of the way the whole process or the program has been designed. So no, it's not about less important or more important. It's just that how the process has been designed and how you get stuck in that whole backlog with the application process. Is it true that people who applied in early 21 will have to wait more than 22 months? Someone said, well, applications will get processed only in 23. Well, then I think you should stay away from that someone, because, social media is such a nice thing, right? Anybody can say whatever they want to, and it is up to you who you choose to listen to. The data is suggesting that they are clearing the backlogs. The data is suggesting that there is no reason for you to freak out and think it will take you up to 2022. It will take up till 2023. Yes, there are definitely going to be some applications which will take long, but that could primarily be for any number of reasons. From what we are seeing a lot of 2018, obviously a lot of 2018 getting cleared, 2019 getting cleared, 2020 getting cleared. Of course, 2021 have been also getting cleared. And you are in early 21, you're not even in 2020. There are so many tons of people from 2020 who are waiting, and they are also freaking out. So I don't think you should be worrying too much. Just have patience, just wait it out. You've waited for so long. I mean, then understand that it is a process. It will take time. Once it happens, instead of you freaking out, one fine day you will get your golden email and you'll live happily ever after. Can I do upfront medical test before it expires? I have 2 months left to expire. Why do you want to do an upfront medical? Why? How does it matter to you? I mean, I know this whole anxiousness and this anxiety of getting it processed faster, but you're doing your medicals. First of all, you can't do it. It's 2 months left to expire. You can only do another medical after 11 months have expired. So in your case, you will not even be able to do it. That's number one. Number two, from what we understand now, medical centers have stopped accepting upfront remedicals just the way you want to do it. And thankfully, they have stopped it, because this is getting, crazy. So just like you, right? You're getting so anxious, you're getting impatient. I want to do medicals again. Why you want to do the medicals again? Just relax. Maybe you don't even have to do the medicals. Maybe IRCC is going to give you the extension, which they have been giving. So yeah, just wait it out, my friend. Just wait it out. Any updates on New Brunswick's finance and admin program conducted in March 2022? First of all, it was not a program that was conducted as part of an immigration program. It was vacancies, those were announced, or rather the recruitment initiative that was announced. And there have been individuals who have received some communication, but I can't tell you, because I personally haven't heard anything specific. And these things take time. And to tell you, there was only a number of vacancies, and they have received more than 40,000 applications. So I'm sure it's going to take them some time to sift through all of that. And at the end of the day, they will not get in touch with everybody. They will get in touch with only those people who they were specifically interested in. I'm planning to do soft landing in June, planning to do marriage in July. After that, I need PRTD. What documents are required? Should I need to show any emergency that I left Canada without PR card? Okay, so if you have recently become a permanent resident, there is no requirement for you to show too many documents. IRCC understands that you may have not received a PR card and therefore you're applying for PRTD. Simply provide a letter of explanation. Say, this is what happened. I came to Canada. I had to travel back. I need a PRTD to go back to Canada because I don't have a PR card. Provide a copy of your COPR, passport copy. If you have any documents that you got while you were in Canada, like your bank account, your proof of address, your whatever documents you were able to create or generate, provide that, and don't worry about it. You will get a PRTD. You don't need to show any emergency. You do not need to create any emergency. It's your right to apply for PRTD. It's not a big deal. Okay, so don't worry about it. So if you have applied for a minor's study permit application as part of your spouse open work permit application, then yes, you can do it. Ideally, study permit application is not issued for children below the age of 5, because they will not be able to go to school. They're not even eligible to go to a school. So applying for a study permit for a child who is not even eligible to go to a school, well, then it becomes a question mark. But again, IRCC is known to be quite discretionary. So by all means, they might issue it. But under normal circumstances, you shouldn't apply for a study permit for a child below 5 years. For children above 5 years, you apply for a study permit. For children below 5 years, you will apply for a TRV. My score is 453. Do I stand a chance? Please wait for the draws to happen and then you can check. Current visa office is Vancouver, changed from New Delhi to Winnipeg. Shall we do upfront medicals? I think I've been talking about that upfront medicals already. Don't do any upfront medicals. It is not required. Just wait for IRCC to ask you. Only then do your medicals. And I'm glad IRCC has brought this process that the medical centers will not accept requests for upfront medicals. Thankfully, this is a big relief, if at all that has already been announced. I'm going to submit my demand in PNP with New Brunswick for work experience. I have work certificate, but that doesn't include tasks and responsibilities. Should I upload them both? Well, you have to provide your document that shows your tasks and responsibilities. If you don't have that, it will become a problem. So whether it is in your employment letter, whether it's in your reference letter, whether it's in your experience letter, whatever you want to call the document, you will need to provide a document which shows your duties and responsibilities. Again, otherwise it's going to be an issue. Is there any problem with CICC website? I have not been able to log in to upload my documents. No, I don't think there is any problem with the IRCC website. If you are facing an issue, then delete your cookies or clear your cache memory, use a different browser, use a different computer if you have to. But yes, sometimes those issues happen, but there is no problem with the website as such. Can we call IRCC to know our status? Yes, absolutely. They won't give you any additional information. It is probably going to be the same, but yes, you can definitely call them. How much do you charge for student visa applications? Is it worth to apply if one is 40, masters, 12 years, but fulfills all SDS? Well, we charge between 1,200 to 1,500 US dollars, including assisting you with the admission process. That's what we charge. Is it worth to apply? Well, the worth is something which you will have to decide. Even a person who is 30 years old, there is no guarantee that person will get an approval of the study visa. So if you are at 40, of course, there is no guarantee you will get approval for your study visa. Has there been people, or rather, have there been people who have been successful? Yes, there are plenty of people who have been successful at the age of 40, 42, 45, 48, even 50. Okay, they have been. I'm not saying it's very common, but yes, it does happen. It all depends on your profile. It all depends on your documentation. It all depends on your background. It depends on your what was your past academic scores. It depends on how are you going to prove that you have compelling reasons to return back, your ties to home country. There are so many factors that will define whether your study permit application will get approved or not. At the end of the day, it is still discretionary. It's a subjective application. So IRCC discretion applies. Study permit extension applied 10th Jan inside Canada. Previous permit expired 23 Feb. 2 web forms raised. Suggestions what to do next. Do nothing at all. You applied for extension. You are on implied status. Continue to study. There is no problem at all. CRS is 480. IELTS is expiring 19 December. I think we just did this already. Holding back PPR even after 2.5 months of remit passed, which was requested by IRCC. Signify anything pending on file. I can't tell you that. Only IRCC can tell you if there is anything pending. Tell me about RINP and MPNP. Where should I go? Well, you need a job offer. And in both these cases, if you're looking for Manitoba, then your score has to be high and you need a connection to the province. And for RINP, you need a job. RNIP. For RNIP, you need a job offer. If you have a job offer, then of course go for any of the. Again, wherever you have a better chance of getting invited and getting processed, you go with that. I'm not sure if you have a job offer, because otherwise you won't be asking this question. And for MPNP, you need very high score and at the same time also connection to the province. Planning to do soft landing, planning to get married. Oh, we did this. When does IELTS score gets locked? Does it get locked on receiving an ITA? No, it gets locked after you have submitted your PR application. Thank you for your help on medical examination. No one else was able to clear. Thank you. You're most welcome. How does the 600 points from PNP nomination is already included in that figure you showed a while ago? Okay. Well, 600 points is right on the top. That is number 747. This is pool as of 27th of April. 747 candidates are there in the pool with a score of 601 to 1200. Okay. And because there are these 747 people, it basically means these people are the ones who have received nominations and the 600 points have been added into their score. So yes, those are those people. I'm flying first time with PNP Alberta. My destination is Calgary, but I'm getting cheap tickets via Toronto. Is it okay to do so? Absolutely, yes. There is no problem. You can come, you can travel via Toronto. There is no problem. Absolutely go ahead and do it. Don't worry about it. You just need to maintain your intention to reside in Alberta, and that's just about it. No problem. I can guarantee this to you because so many of my friends and relatives have arrived. My own son, my elder son, he is a Alberta PNP nominee, and he came to Toronto. He stayed with me for a month and then went to Alberta, and now he lives in Alberta. So yeah, there is no problem at all, and don't worry about it. Again, as I said, your intention to reside should be in the province that nominated you. Any updates about Caregiver 2021 applicants who got permanent AOR? No, you don't expect AOR so soon for Caregiver program. It can take, it's going to be a long time. It's almost easily going to take you more than 12 months to get your AOR. FSW when? Well, if you haven't heard the news, then it is going to be early July. That is it. That's when. Will lack of work reference letter lead to automatic rejection of FSW application? It won't lead to automatic rejection. It will lead to eventual refusal. That's what it will lead to. Because if you have provided some work experience documents in your FSW application, it might pass the R10 completeness check. At that point of time, after the A11.2 assessment will start and they realize you do not have a reference letter, then they will refuse your application, but it will take significantly longer. But it will be refused for sure. How much time does it take for eligibility to finish if not started? Rock India AOR. I am sorry, I cannot give you any timelines. There is no way to anticipate or give you any kind of indication on that. What is the current CRS cutoff for express entry? The current CRS cutoff is above 700. That is what has been happening for the last few months. Whenever the draws will happen, which is here, the scores are going to be in the range of 500 plus. That is what the CRS cutoff will be. How long will it take for the entire backlog to clear? Entire backlog will never, ever be cleared. It can never be cleared. The reason for that is because there will always be some applications in the pipeline, in the backlog. So you can never say when the backlog will be cleared. The majority of the backlog, which is currently existing within the Express Entry and the PR application system, majority of them are expected to be cleared off within this year itself. I have submitted recently, I have mentioned skill level C job in employment history. Concern is I may not be able to provide ADR for C level job. They won't even ask you for ADR for C level job because C level jobs in Express Entry have no relevance whatsoever, especially for your points. So yeah, it doesn't make any difference there at all. I ordered GCMS notes online about a month ago, didn't receive them yet. Can I order it again? Yes, you can order them again. They can easily take up to 90 days to come through. Generally, how many days Ontario process foreign skilled worker nomination? Roughly 3 months at this time. Study permit application applied 10th of Jan inside Canada. Oh, we did this. Do I need to share police clearance from a country I haven't visited for the last 10 years? Well, you are required to provide a police clearance from all countries where you have resided for 6 months or more in a row within the last 10 years or after the age of 18, and whichever comes first. Okay, so if you are already 29 years and above and within the last 10 years you haven't been to any country and you have not resided there for 6 months or more in a row, you don't need a PCC. Is there any update for work permit application and my file is under process? How much time it can take? I can't tell you how much time it can take because I do not know where you're applying from. You can always check IRCC website to see what the processing times are. Work permit applications from India are taking roughly 12 months at this point of time. PNP moved NDVO, haven't asked re-medicals. We did this already. Is it possible to mark spouse from non? I'm sorry, I don't understand that question. Okay, a lot of same questions coming up through. I received an approval for CUTE visa work permit for 3 years. My passport is expiring on 1/1/24. Should I get a new passport before stamping the visa on the old one? Yes, absolutely. Get a new passport if you, or actually it's 24, right? Well, no, don't get a new one. Get it stamped on this one. Your visa expiry will be until 1/1/24. But once you're in Canada and you're able to extend your passport, you will also be able to extend your work permit. But if you want to play it safe and you don't want to take a chance, then if you are able to, because in most countries, you will not be able to renew your passport more than 12 months in advance. But if you're able to renew your passport, by all means do, you may get a longer duration of your visa validity. My current score is 477. I have Alberta LMIA. Kindly suggest whether I would go for AAIP or should wait for FSW. Well, again, in both cases, continue to be in the pool. If Alberta is interested in your profile, they will invite you. If they invite you, definitely go with Alberta. It's a more sure shot way of getting through rather than waiting anxiously for your Express Entry draw. Postgraduate work permit expiring in 2023, planning to apply for spouse visitor after marriage in June. Does it help the visitor application if we apply for 3 months as postgraduate work permit expiring in 2023? Well, your status or when it is expiring will have very little relevance in the assessment of the application for visit visa for your spouse because their documents will be more critical in assessment rather than your expiry or rather your validity in Canada. I applied for closed work permit, open work permit for my wife, 3 dependents, study permit for my kids from Trinidad, website showing 2 weeks, but 8 weeks have gone. What I should do, please? Well, you can raise a web form and you can request for update. But from what we understand at this point of time, there are ridiculous number. If you see this list, there are these ridiculous number of applications which are in backlog. 1.1 million applications in backlog, including study permit, temporary residence visa, which is TRVs, work permit applications. All of them are in the backlog. Huge, huge, huge backlog. Okay, done this. Can anyone tell me the average cost of 2 years masters in data science? You are looking at approximately $20,000 per year, but you can always go and check online for different colleges of your interest. Applied for study permit Feb 2022. Up to now, I wasn't asked to do medicals. Do you think it's taking too long? I just showed you there are plenty of backlogs, but you are in Feb 2022, which basically, and you haven't done your medicals. Are you STS? Are you non-STS? Non-STS obviously takes longer, and it's quite possible that it is getting delayed because of that as well. But yeah, you'll have to simply wait because, as I said, there are just too many backlogs for temporary residence visas. I did an EE profile via ARCIC and I was advised that there is no option to select open to all territories. Is this true? I want my profile to be accessible to all province. There is definitely an option to select all provinces. If the RCIC told you there is no option, then unfortunately you may have been lied to. Score of 406 has absolutely zero chance in express entry. So your only option is going to be with PNPs. With 406, the only PNP you could be aiming at would be Alberta or Nova Scotia. Alberta, there is no way to say who and when they will invite. Same thing with Nova Scotia. You do not know when and who they will invite. But yes, having an express entry profile is a good idea. Having an active express entry profile is a very good idea. And there is definitely an option to select all provinces. ADR Schedule A, PCC, remedicals. What will be the next stage of my application? Getting ADR means my application is in final stage. Well, based on the current trends, yes, that is what we would assume, that getting these ADRs means that your application is towards the end of the processing, and the next step should be either another ADR or a passport request or a RFE, which is ready for visa. My spouse is a certified hairstylist. Her education doesn't get covered by simple ECA as these are certifications. How do we get the assessment done? Unfortunately, you can't get the assessment done for these because they are not considered as tertiary education. These are considered vocational or trade certifications, and those do not give you points in express entry. So therefore, you are not able to get any ECA for them. Do you advise owner operator if CRS score is low? Well, owner operator visa, first of all, is not easy to get. Owner operator program was very, very popular in 2017, 2018, 2019 also. After that, it basically became more and more difficult until last year they announced under owner operator that you also now need to get the advertising done, which made it even more difficult to get processed. So owner operator doesn't get approved that easily, especially the LMIA. And so if you are considering purchasing a business which has a decent revenue and a good management structure, then yes, you can apply under the owner operator. Obviously, if you're able to obtain an approval for one. At the expiry of my postgraduate work permit, I will have 1 year, 11 months experience in NOC B job. Is there any valid strategy to push myself over 2-year work experience? Yes. Towards the expiry of your postgraduate work permit, apply for extension. When you will apply for extension, even if you're not eligible for an extension, even if you know that your application will not be extended, but it does give you an implied status until the decision is taken. So it gives you that much of time to complete your 2 years of period of work experience. And even if it is refused, you change your status, you restore your status, change it to visitor to continue being in Canada. And if you're able to apply before you get a decision, you might also be eligible to apply for bridge open work permit. But yes, you can use this. You can use this loophole to get this done. That's not a problem. How can we show other proof of employment such as payslip, job offer letter, official job description mentioned in the company's website? Will that be enough if we don't have work reference letter? No, it will not be enough. You still need to prove your NOC code, which is an extremely critical aspect of your application, and that is done by way of reference letter, which includes your tasks and responsibilities. What questions are asked at the airport for an ICT work permit holder? Well, not too many. Your obviously your employer, how long have you worked for them, your location of work, your place of work, your kind of job you will be doing. That's just about it. Nothing too stringent there. My postgraduate work permit expires in 2 days. Do I need to apply for a visitor visa and wait for postgraduate work permit extension in June when the pool opens? Yes, you could, or you could apply for the extension of postgraduate work permit as well. Apply for the extension, you will be allowed to continue working, or you could apply to change your status to visitor. Either of them you can do. How to get a visitor visa for my mom if my application is still in process? Well, your application is irrelevant for the visitor visa for your mom. Your mom will apply for a visitor visa on their own accord based on their own documentation. What is your application status has got nothing to do with their visit visa application. So they will apply based on their own status, on their own documentation. We applied for express entry from US, got passport request. Okay, another one. Congratulations, but my spouse is in India. Can we submit our passports to VAC in India since we didn't receive any response from IRCC? If you have informed IRCC already using a web form that your spouse is in India and she or he would like to submit their passports from India, and once you receive acknowledgement and confirmation from IRCC, then yes, you can. Your spouse can submit in India. You can submit it in USA. There is no problem. Added my spouse to PR application, got her medicals also done. Where can I find this update in GIC account? You can click on view my dependents. If in the view my dependents, your spouse's name has been added, means that they are working on that application. Is it advisable to get my spouse a red seal certification? You can get red seal certification, but even then the red seal certification adds no points to your application. It does not add any value, any relevance to your application. You may need a red seal certification once you come to Canada, but for that you will also need to clear some other certifications. So if you're looking to do something with your application processing, it doesn't add any value there. No. Okay, my son has 468. Should he apply for Ontario or EE? Which stream has more chances for PR for a PR? Well, your son should definitely apply for Ontario if he is eligible, because in express entry 468 anytime soon is unlikely to happen. Well, that's basically all. Since all the questions are done and finished with, I appreciate your joining me today. Thank you very much. If you wish to make an appointment, then that is the link. By all means, do that and we can discuss your application one-on-one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Thank you so much today for joining in again, and I will see you next time. Take care.